The families of the victims of the Life Esidimeni tragedy want justice for their loved ones. This after the inquest found that the deaths of the 141 mental health patients who were moved to unlicensed NGOs from Life Esidimeni were avoidable. Gauteng Director of Mental Health Directorate, Dr. Makgabo Manamela, Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi spoke to the sister of one of the survivors.
So the families of the Life Esidimeni victims continue to react to the judgment that was handed down earlier this week in the inquest of that tragic event. And of course, some that have already spoken are those who lost their loved ones. But we take a look at those who survived and what this means for them as calls mount for accountability. Nomvula's sister was one of those who survived, but at a later stage died. So she's joining me now to give us a sense of what this judgment means for her and her family. Nomvula, I want to thank you so much for your time. I can't imagine what this moment means for you. I mean, one, it's probably triggering, and two, quite angering, because now you have to relive that traumatic experience.
Yeah, so it is quite triggering, and you can't help it but look back to where you come from. And, you know, I've had to ask myself that did this really happen? Did it really have to happen? And, I mean, especially because there was so many things, so many people that actually did try to alert them to stop it, or to at least pause and make thorough research before they can actually take this step. So I think the judgment for me is a step in the right direction. I'm not entirely happy, especially because, I mean, Judge Defo selected a number of people that she said Mahlangu was actually negligent to. But I mean, it's not just 8 that died. It was more than that. So what is she saying about the rest of the other people? Because for me, those are the people that actually died while they were still by the NGOs, and their death were actually due to this type of negligence that they had to face from the NGOs. So, but I think at least, you know, I feel like, again, someone else validated our concerns and also the issues that we raised, that we were actually not crazy, but we actually had a point. Yeah.
I mean, your sister survived this. Take me back to how she was moved from Life and the kind of NGO that she was placed in at the time, and what raised the alarm for you?
So at first they had told me that she was going to go to Vereeniging, and in one of the engagements that we had with them was that they must also not move people too far from family, because we still want to be able to visit our loved ones. And then they said they were going to move her to Vereeniging, but I was like, it's too far, because I was staying in Pretoria, but my family is in Joburg. And then they said, okay, they won't. And then I was only told when she was moved that she's now in Forchville. And then it was a struggle to find the contact number, because one, I couldn't Google the NGO. And then it was a struggle to find the owner's number, because it's only the owner that you could get hold of. There's no call center or anything like that. And then when I found it, my first call with that lady who actually owned the NGO was not a nice one, because she was also grieving, and she was also not happy, because she actually did complain to me that the government actually dumped people to her, and she didn't want them, and she told them that she was still renovating the place that she had just found, and she just lost her husband, but government did give her I think it was about 50 people that went there. And one of my also worries was that there was another lady that we knew of, was the patient, who was moved in the same NGO, but she had walked from there to Johannesburg on her feet. And then she was lost by virtue of that, and then we're still trying to find her. So it really unsettled me. I mean, I had to leave work to go and try and find the place so that I know where my sister was exactly. And then when I got there, she was not handed over with medication, and even her ID was still in the midst of all the files that were dumped to the lady. And she was confused, because she didn't know why she's there and where exactly she is, and where other friends were that she had made within the Life Esidimeni Center. So it was really not a nice sight.
Now that this judgment, as you say, validates some of the concerns that you have, we hear people saying the people that have been singled out, particularly Gretani Mahlangu, the former health MEC in Gauteng, needs to be prosecuted for this. What would you like to see? Because in a way, yes, your sister did survive, but at a later stage, she ended up passing away. What do you want as a family?
Definitely prosecution. I think especially because even from the when we had Moseneke leading the award, what led to the award, right? Those two especially showed no remorse, and they were still blaming each other. And I mean, I was even watching some of the YouTube's news from long ago, well, 7 years ago, when Mahlangu was interviewed, even after the deaths had started occurring, and just how arrogant she was that, they can't say how many people died and why they died, and they can't blame the NGOs because people die every day. And so for me, she really needs to serve her term for what she did. And hopefully that will also then enforce the rest of the people who are still working in the health to understand that when they're looking after people, they really need to make sure that they deliver as best as possible to those people because they need that care from them.
All right, thank you so much for your time. That was Nomvula reflecting, of course, on that judgment that was handed down earlier this week. It seems the calls are mounting for prosecution and a level of accountability. You would have also seen the statement by the National Prosecuting Authority saying that they will prioritize this case. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Mnisi in Pretoria.